From the Bronc TV and radio studios at UTPA in Edinburgh, it's the Bronc Sports Report. What's happening, Bronc Nation? I'm Daniel Morales. I've got your Bronc Sportscast for this week. We've got a detailed look at all things NFL. Plus, UTPA has launched a new sports show, and we're going to tell you all about it. But first,
on Monday, October 7th, the University of Texas Pan American began showing Bronc Country. Bronc Country is a sports program dedicated to Pan Am athletics that is written, produced, filmed, and edited right here on campus. UTPA Assistant Athletic Director of Communications, Jonah Goldberg, serves as host and executive producer. Bronc TV Supervisor, Video, and Editing Professor Nick Taylor serves as an advisory role with several students helping out as well. You can catch Bronc Country every Friday at 11 a.m. on Comcast Sports Network, Channel 39, McAllen Cable Network, Channel 17 on Time Warner Cable for residents of McAllen, and for Television, Channel 12 on Time Warner Cable as well. For Bronc Radio Sports, I'm Beatriz Ramirez.
The MLB Championship Series is firmly underway, with all teams fighting for that chance at the World Series. The Detroit Tigers and Boston Red Sox are tied in their series at 2 games each, with both teams hoping to break a tie at Game 5 tonight at 7. On the other side, the LA Dodgers are pushing for a tie tomorrow night, pushing the St. Louis Cardinals into a Game 7 situation. The game will air tomorrow night at 7:30. For Bronc Radio Sports, I'm Carlos Garza.
Are you ready to get your spirit on? The University of Texas Pan American is showing their pride with Spirit Week going on from October 21st to the 26th. Several events are planned throughout the week, including the Pink Out Volleyball game on Monday, October 21st, where everyone is encouraged to come in their best pink gear and cheer the Broncs to victory as they take on the Grand Canyon State University right here at the UTPA Fieldhouse. Also going on in the Fieldhouse is the largest tailgating party on campus, which happens on October the 25th. Stick around for the lighting of the letters and Bronc Madness, which signals the official start of basketball season. Don't forget to purchase your $5 Spirit t-shirt this week at the Payments and Collections office.
Welcome to the Week 7 edition of the Bronc Radio Fantasy Football Minute. Quarterback Nick Foles is a strong option for fantasy teams who are struggling at the quarterback position. Foles posted 30 points last week against a tough Buccaneers defense. This week, Foles gets the Dallas Cowboys, who have given him the third most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Cincinnati Bengals running back Giovanni Bernard had a nice stat line last week, scoring 16 fantasy points against the Buffalo Bills. Next up for Bernard is Detroit Lions, who have surrendered 23 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs, which is the second most in the league. Over the last 4 weeks, only 3 receivers have scored more fantasy points than Browns wideout Josh Gordon. Gordon should continue to shine this week against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have surrendered the 4th most fantasy points to opposing wideouts. Chargers tight end Antonio Gates remains a solid option this week. Gates is a favorable matchup this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have surrendered the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing tight ends over the last 4 weeks. That'll do it for me here. Good luck to you and your fantasy teams this week. For Bronc Radio Sports, I'm Javi Guerrero.
A solid week in the NFL. Here comes the Week 6 wrap-up. This week kicked off with the Bears and Giants, G-Men trying to avoid going 0-6. The Bears came out strong on both sides of the ball. Brandon Marshall with 87 yards and 2 TDs, while Tim Jennings had 2 picks and 1 going for a TD. Chicago squeezes it out at home, winning it 27-21. Packers and Ravens, it was a sluggish day for the two offenses. The Packers were plagued with wide receiver injuries in this one, but Jordy Nelson stayed healthy and had 113 yards and a TD. The Ravens had a comeback coming on late in the 4th quarter, but a smart play by rookie running back Eddie Lacy sealed the Packers' win 19-17. The Eagles and Buccaneers, Bucs trying to get their first win. With Michael Vick out, Nick Foles got the start for the Eagles, and he didn't disappoint. He threw for 296 yards and 3 TDs. Vincent Jackson had a good game with 114 yards and 2 scores. Philly tops Tampa 31-20. The Lions and Browns, Matt Stafford threw for 248 yards, 4 TDs, and a pick. The Lions improved to 4-2 as they take the W 31-17. The Steelers get their first win on the road against the Jets 19-6. Chiefs and Raiders, Jamal Charles had 78 yards and 2 scores. Kansas City stays perfect as they roll through Oakland 24-7. Vikings and Panthers, Cam Newton was on for this one. He threw 20 of 26 with 242 yards and 3 TDs. Carolina goes to 2-3 as they take it 35-10. Seattle bests Tennessee with Lynch running for 2 scores. Seahawks go to 5-1, winning it 20-13. Bengals and Bills, this one was a good game. With E.J. Manuel out, Thad Lewis would get the nod to start. He threw 216 yards, 2 pass TDs, and a rushing touchdown. And the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, threw for 337 yards, 3 scores, and a pick. This one went into OT, and Cincinnati came out on top, taking it 27-24. Cardinals and 49ers, this one was closer than I thought it would be. Colin Kaepernick with a bounce-back game. He threw for 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. His main target was Vernon Davis. He had 180 yards and 2 scores. San Francisco improves to 4-2, winning it 32-20. Broncos and Jaguars. The Jags had something to prove coming in after having the odds weighed so heavily against them. Jacksonville came in tough on defense and had Justin Blackmon on offense with 14 grabs and 190 yards, but the Broncos were still too much with no Sean Marino, with 3 scores and Manning throwing for 295 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick. Denver beat Jacksonville but couldn't cover the 27-point spread. Broncos stay perfect and walk away with the W, 35-19. The Colts and Chargers. Indianapolis wasn't able to get anything going offensively with a lot of drop balls. Reggie Wayne had a big game, getting his 1,000th reception. He is the 9th receiver to do so in NFL history. Despite that, the Chargers still get the win, winning it 19-9. Another hard-to-watch Houston game, this time facing off against St. Louis. The Texans struggled to put anything together. Matt Schaub went out after an injury. The only bright spot for the Texans was Arian Foster. He ran for 141 yards. Sam Bradford only threw 12 of 16 for 117 yards and 3 TDs. The Rams go to 3-3 as they breeze through the Texans 38-13. Cowboys and Redskins. Dallas had a rough game against Washington with both DeMarco Murray and DeMarcus Ware injured. Dallas looked good against the Redskins. The Cowboys sealed the game after 2 late Washington turnovers. The Cowboys go to 3-3 after the 31-16 win. The game of the week, the Patriots and the Perfect Saints. Breeze was 3-0 all-time versus Brady before this one. Both teams with tight end trouble. Jimmy Graham left the game with an injury, and Pat Gronkowski misses 6 games straight. Breeze threw for 236 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick. Brady threw for 269 yards, a pick, and the game-winning touchdown with 5 seconds left. New England hands New Orleans their first loss in dramatic fashion, winning it 30-27. From Bronc Radio Sports, I'm David Sullivan.
The Houston Texans have lost 4 games this season, and the fans showed their displeasure with quarterback Matt Schaub by cheering his possible injury in the St. Louis Ram game Sunday. BRTV reporter Alex Pena was at the game and described the incident.
It was near the 40, 50-yard line towards the Ravens, towards the Rams side. He was sacked by Chris Long, and we immediately heard people clapping. Since they were losing by so much, I began clapping as a joke, like yeah, let's go, another sack. I saw him lying down, and then people started continuing to clap more louder. And as soon as I saw that he was grabbing his ankle or his foot, people were cheering on the bullpen, which is the main target side for the fans. And I saw one guy behind me and next to me. They were cheering. I told him, dude, he's hurt. You gotta support the team. I mean, and I told him, no matter how bad someone may be playing you, at the end of the day, they're human.
I asked Alex about the Texan tongue lashing of the unruly fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's embarrassing. It's pathetic that you got fans that are supporting the team, and then when things don't go their way or how they perceive it to be, they lash out. It's you had Arian Foster, you got Andre Johnson saying it's classless, and those are players that are classless themselves. So for them to be saying that the fans are classless, it's spot on.
For Bronc Radio Sports Report, I am Fred Mann.
The Division of Information Technology is a proud supporter of Bronc Radio. A portion of today's programming is underwritten by the Division of IT to support this all-student radio station. The Division of IT offers Bronc Mail, Bronc Print, Bronc Software, and other various services. The IT Support Desk is located at the Academic Services Building and is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Technical support is also available at 665-2020, and more information is online at www.utpa.edu/IT.
Well, that's it for this week's Bronx Sports Report. I would like to thank radio station manager Khadija Zarate, news director Ivan Herrera, and all the radio station staff. And as always, be sure to support your UTP athletics. Go Bronx!